destined to be doomed. According to Singleton, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder years before the night of the murder, but Grimes, who knew about it, did not mention it in court. To prove that he knew about his mental illness, he shared that Grimes was the one who picked up Singleton from a mental institution when he was diagnosed. Twice. You might say at this point, why didn't he say anything during the trial? Well, since the day he got to jail, he was put on Haldol, used in the treatment of acute psychosis, and is one of the drugs used for chemical restraint in cases of PCP. Biglerch couldn't speak for himself or defend himself, and most probably didn't understand what was going on at the time. The only evidence submitted for the plea was that Singleton had PCP in his system and PCP-induced psychosis. The DA filed a motion to dismiss the plea, and the judge granted the motion. Singleton claimed that Milton Grimes lost the case on purpose to gain favor on another case.
He's a lawyer, so he can do deals with all the judges and everything. So my paperwork and all that shit only says what the person that twisted me up wanted it to say. Because he owned the label and he was my lawyer. And he got me firmed up, so I was slow than a motherfucker. So when I'm in court, I don't know what's going on. You got me in mental health. I'm on Haldol. And then you tell me not to take the stand, and then a total twist.
If all of this still didn't convince you that the trial was strange, a little more than half a year later, after Biglerch was sentenced, a California court ordered Milton Grimes to pay $1.2 million to the murder of a man fatally shot by Gardenia police after a jury found Grimes failed to properly litigate her civil wrongful death case against the police department. After Singleton's conviction, the record label immediately took advantage of the situation by releasing his debut album It's All Bad, photoshopping him holding a skull on a platter, and a documentary, Drugs Made Me Do It, both without his permission. This wasn't the first time the same record label used murder as a publicity for profit. In a similar fashion, the label put out albums for X-Rated while he was awaiting trial, and eventually, he was convicted of murder. This trial has to be one of the most interesting trials in hip-hop history. Everything from murder, to trial, to conviction remains a mystery. The most unfortunate thing is that a young woman lost her life that day. Tanisha Esaias was placed to rest, and we should remember that she suffered a terrible fate at the hands of a killer. Rest in peace, Tanisha Esaias. Was justice served?